man properly, bro.
Nah, this guy's racist though. This is the one that shot the black boy.
Let me see.
This guy's racist, bro.
What, just by looking at him?
Brother.
I'm not saying he isn't,
But to be fair, how old is he?
84.
Yeah, that man were around when black people weren't.
Yeah, he fired through his own door, the glass. It hit my man, I think below his eye. I think his mum was talking about today, below his eye. Then he's gone outside, seen man on the floor, and he shot him in his arm. That's the second one that they're saying. That's attempted murder, bro. Because you've already hit man. And you've clocked who it is. He's not troubling you. He's not, what's the word? Intimidating, nothing. And then you let another one go.
Did it go in his head or just grazing?
I think it grazed this. She said it went in his eye, like under his eye. I can play the video of the mum talking about it. She said he's good though. He's at home now. So.
Oh, so he's not like mentally.
She says she doesn't know. It's the shot in his face. It's gonna take him a while to recover. The doctors are saying probably about a year. But he's not going to be the same again, just like you said about traumatic experience, bro. I'm going to go pick up his sibling to get shot. Yeah, this one.
Top of his left eye, that I would say in the left frontal lobe, and then he was shot again in the upper right arm. He was shot. He had the bullet in the up here for about, let's say, up to 12 hours before it was taken out. So that injury is extensive.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
No, bless you.
Oh, yeah, we just cut it out.
Obviously, I decided to kind of branch out of this whole dating, relationship, sex conversation that allegedly Free Shots only talk about. And I found myself on YouTube watching a conversation between that politician, Suella. Is it Suella Braverman?
Who's that?
Yeah.
The
Australian woman.
The Asian woman. That's
Home Secretary.
Yeah, Home Secretary. That's adamant that the grooming gangs are British Pakistani men.
Mostly.
What colour is she?
I think she's Pakistani, right?
Asian.
Yeah, she's Asian. I'm not sure she's Pakistani or Indian, yeah. But she is adamant, yeah, that it is British Pakistani men that are
the main perpetrators.
She goes, we see.
Do you know how dangerous that is for you to come out and say that?
Wait, hold on. We see a practice whereby vulnerable white English girls, sometimes in care, sometimes in challenging circumstances, are being pursued, raped, drugged, and harmed by gangs of British Pakistani men who work in child abuse rings or networks. But the statistics show that the majority of them are most commonly white.
Exactly.
And the woman is arguing with her, telling her, but the stats show that they're majority white. Why do you keep saying British Pakistani? She goes, because they are Brit. I'm like, this is... But when you watch her speak here, I feel like she's been troubled by her own. And her agenda is, I want to get rid of these guys.
There was even an arrest made the other day, and they said it was like the biggest ring or something like that. And it was all white British people.
She ain't hearing that. She's Ray Charles and all of that. Her main agenda is
my
British
thing is this. I
Pakistani
think
men.
in terms of the north or the north part of England, like, yes, because those areas do have predominantly more Asian men, then it's more likely that around those areas, any kind of grooming is going to be those men because it's those areas. But generally speaking, in regards to the UK,
I think the situation...
It's gonna be a majority...
No, but she's got a few...
It's the situation you were talking about in Huddersfield.
I can't remember.
If it was, you know what I mean, it was 42 Asian men, you know what I mean,
No, I don't think it was,
in this ring, and they got collectively 500 years. And I feel like it's something that most people didn't speak on because people think it's racist to come out and
it's fine to speak on it. But
you know what I mean? I'm not. So for me, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but we can say that, you know what I mean, in certain situations, if a group of people is overrepresented in something, it's a cause for concern. All I'm saying is, you know what I mean,
but when it was Jimmy Savile and all that, and Bam, what's going on here?
No, we talk about statistically, if we were just to look at it and you look at it for pound, you see what I'm saying? If we look at certain things pound for pound, you're like, rah, there's this, you know what I mean, this group that makes up this much of the population, but in this section, they're represented. You know what I mean? You're like, it could be an issue. White people in almost everything in this country will always be the most, just purely based off the fact that they are the biggest, you know what I mean? But if we were to look at people and you're like, cool, so if we were to extrapolate those statistics and we're like, cool, let's say there was 100 Asian people in this country and 1,000 white people or whatever, and you know what I mean, let's say, you know, you're like, cool, there's an Asian, you know what I mean, not to say this is true, this is whatever, it's just an example. If you were to say there's 100 Asian people and let's say 10,000, just to make up, there's 10,000 white people, you know what I mean, and you were to say, cool, of that 100 Asian people or Asian men, you know, or whatever, of that 100 Asian men, let's say 10 of them are, you know what I mean, groomers, essentially, you know what I mean, that is, you know what I mean, that's just 10,
That's
you know what I mean,
10%.
and then you look at the, you know, white people and you say there's 200 of them. If you were to look at those groups of people and you were to look at it on a percentage basis or whatever,
There's still more white people though.
it's just based on number.
It's 20% white people, it's 10% Asian.
200 out of 10,000.
Obviously, out of 1,000.
No, 200 out of 10,000
Yeah.
or whatever, and there's 10 out of this, you know what I mean? That's, so, you know what I mean? It's a group of people where you're like, you are way too
Keith,
overrepresented.
I hear you.
So all I'm saying is like, when we look at,
there's a concentration, but there's still 2,000 over there doing it.
No, but it's not even that though. It's the stereotype.
It's the narrative.
She's making it seem as if it's all of them.
Yeah.
It's like for example, when black men get stopped and searched. You're not going to stop and search all black men just because there's an issue in this community or in this area. Is what I'm saying. You're not going to do that. You got to be specific in how you're conducting your work. Whereas the way she speaks about it, she makes it seem as if all British Pakistani men, and you know what impact that's going to have.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why she's saying it though. Because if you look at the race relations in the UK, it's kind of like immigration and whatever. If you notice, the government, people don't realise what the government do. The government are they're in disarray, bro. Remember, the economy's in bits, food prices are high, petrol prices, this and that. The only way they can get people is fear. So there's a lot of racist people in this country or people that are prejudiced that will be on a vibe of Asian this, Asian that. So if you make it seem like there's a problem and you're solving it, because she mentioned about white girls in care, but boys in care get abused as well.
And people of colour as well. It's not just white girls.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, but in this country, if the white woman or the white girl is the standard of innocence, if we say that person is at harm,
everyone's going to hear what you're saying.
Everyone's going to hear what we're saying. It's going to tug at a heartstring. It's like, for example, when they talk about knife crime in the UK. At one point in time, Glasgow was a knife.
probably still is.
The knife capital of the UK. I don't hear people saying like, "Oh, white Scottish men," or it was always black boys who look like me and you, or like younger. And it's like, I get that they're involved. 100% they are involved. Some of them.
The numbers,
but the knife crime capital is in Scotland. I'm not hearing people saying we need to address this in Scotland the same way. Do you know what I'm saying?
But I think if you were to go to Scotland, what would they say? We need to address what's going on in Scotland.
And that's my point.
I feel like sometimes as people,
saying,
we get emotional and we...
No, I say the saying, address... For example, if there are Asian people doing it, address them. If there are white people doing it, address them. But don't make it sound like it's only Asian people doing something when it's a collective problem. Or even if you think that in terms of the Asian population to what they're doing is high, I hear it. But the same way, even if there's 200 Asian men out of 1,000 and there's 1,000 out of 20,000 white men, that's still 3,000 men doing it.
Facts. But my thing is, okay, when we get into these conversations, especially like, I think you made the, the example of, stop and search and so on and so on, where this many people are getting stopped and searched, this, whatever. For me, these are things where people get so caught up with the identity politics of things where they ignore that certain things are happening. When people want to, protect certain things so much where they ignore that, this is a thing that is happening. So when people bring up stop and search and do like, XYZ is getting stopped so much, this needs to this. If you were to go to Glasgow, in that area, crime is probably committed by people that don't look like us the most. Those people are probably the people that get stopped and searched the most. When you go to Middlesbrough, crime and high numbers or people carry weapons and stuff like that are not people that look like us. They're getting stopped the most. When you go to Liverpool, you know what I mean? Those people aren't, you know what I mean, mostly people like us. I'd say if you go to a place like Manchester, that's probably where the numbers balance out a bit more, whereas, you know what I mean, the same, you know, similar groups of people essentially. When you come to London, you know what I mean, the numbers get higher for, you know what I mean, our demographic because there's a lot more of us within this area. So sometimes
do you mean in when you're comparing it to the population of that demographic
in each area,
because there's not more black people than white people.
No, I'm talking about the people that are. No, it's not more. I'm like, it's not a number of who's.
That's
here.
what I'm saying. So
no. But my thing is, it's not about who there's more of. It's who, you know what I mean, who, like, which people are caught up in committing, you know what I mean, certain types of crimes the most in certain areas.
Yeah, but you can't say that black people are doing more crimes than other people of colour in London.
So you're saying in London, you know what I mean, especially when you look at knife crime, you're saying it's other demographics.
I don't know.
If we look at the numbers, those are the examples.
Let me look at this. I have to get the stats then. I can't just say, but just because I know of certain men who have done a fuckery doesn't mean that there's more of us doing it than.
Yeah.
No, get the. You know I'm saying, pull up the numbers. When I say in London, you know what I mean, essentially, especially when you look at knife crime and the certain things, that's something we as, you know what I mean, unfortunately, as black people, we are overrepresented in. Pull up the numbers. Pull up the numbers.
The thing is, I even saw the thing the other day on the news when it was saying about, I don't know if you saw that as well, Taze, about black kids being strip searched without the knowledge of their parents. Brother, this is not just because black people are stabbing each other. This is an issue with the police in general, bro. Like, if for example, if these men were going to like areas that are crime-ridden and stopping known gang members that they know are gang members and only stopping those people, I'd say, do you know what? I hear you. But, bro, they're stopping school kids sometimes that have nothing to do with anything. And also, my thing is, there's a procedure that needs to be put in place. When you stop someone, you're supposed to let them know why you're stopping them, for example.
Facts.
With some police people, when they're stopping these kids, they're not doing that. They're not telling them the reason for the search, the grounds, their badge number. There's no reason behind it. And sometimes there's excess force used for no reason, bro. So my thing is, if police were doing stuff where, like, they're stopping a kid and saying, listen, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of knife crime around here. This is what we have to do. I'm just going to pat you down, whatever. Cool. You can go along about your business. Sometimes when you see some of the videos, bro, it's very like, you're looking at it thinking, bro, it's overzealous, bro. It's too much. And even when I saw the stat about kids being strip searched, and they were like kids of 8, kids of 9, kids of 10 on their way home, like primary school kids. Brother, come on, man. This is not really like plausible. Do you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I get what you're saying in terms of sometimes in certain areas, if crime is high, for example, maybe in a Hackney or in a Brixton, if there's gang activity is quite high, police might be more active within those areas. But there are a lot of people in those areas that are not in gangs.
This article doesn't highlight
Colour,
but it does mention like areas, for example. So research taken at the time found young male gang members are most likely people to be carrying knives in London. Meanwhile, outside of London, knife incidents in the West Midlands have increased from 3,299 recorded offences to 4,998 per 100,000 population, while Greater Manchester jumped from 3,297 to 3,563. The primary factor in this fall can be attributed to 27% falls in robberies using knives, but there was an increase in all violent and sexual offences involving knives except homicides, which decreased by 1%. Decreased by 1%. The boroughs that have had knife offences in London since June 2022, Hillingdon, for example, 124 incidents.
Where's Hillingdon again? That
like Uxbridge sides.
Okay.
Ealing, 196. Brent, my area, 248. Kensington and Chelsea, 89. Westminster, 327. Camden, 138. Haringey, 273. Enfield, 277. Lambeth, 327. Southwark, 348. Croydon, 343. I mean, I'm just mentioning areas where I guess we know people live, but again, it doesn't mention colour.
Mention other areas as well.
Yeah, so like Lewisham 203, Bexley 88, Barking 116, Kingston 53, Hackney 203, Wandsworth 170. I mean, with this data, I can't say if it's black, white, Asian. I can't. But
but the thing is, there are areas on there that I know that are predominantly black, so I can be like, okay, cool. But there are areas on there like Kensington and Chelsea, Westminster. I'm not too sure about Hillingdon. There are areas on there that I'm like, that's not really a black area though. And I feel like even if you look at the way the world has changed, even robberies now, people with watches, nice houses, or nice things, they're getting robbed. And it's not just black people doing it. It's people who know what they can get away with.
yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just feel like with the police thing, it's sensitive because it's kind of like, yes, police. I'm not saying police's job's easy because it's not, but it's how you do your job.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Police brutality, I feel like, is a big issue. You know, when people talk about, police officers and we speak of kind of how police are, essentially, I personally feel like police brutality is a big issue worldwide. I feel like when you kind of get into the Western world, essentially, that's where it becomes a bit more racial because of, I guess, the racial disparity, essentially. When you go to Jamaica, people have a police brutality issue. Those are people that look like us. You go to Nigeria. What was the police department that people were protesting in Nigeria?
SARS.
Police brutality. You go to Zimbabwe, you go to Brazil.
Yeah, but that's a power issue.
Wait. It's police brutality around the world. Everywhere you go. You see what I'm saying? You go to Liverpool right now, police brutality is an issue. Police overstepping their hand is an issue. You go to Glasgow, police overstepping their powers is an issue. You go to Middlesbrough, you go to Manchester, you go to London. Everywhere in the world you go to, police brutality is an issue. Over here, again, because I guess in the UK and the US and stuff like that, when you look at, kind of the racial divide, how many more white people there are and stuff like that, race comes into play. But the one thing we can all say without a shadow of a doubt is police brutality is an issue around the world. So that's, for me, is the overarching issue.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Let me finish so I can, get to my point. So that is the issue, essentially. So when you come into the areas we live in, and so on and so on, so like, cool, police brutality is an issue, and then, they harass, certain types of people, essentially. So let's say we bring it into knife crimes. You know why, when it comes to, strip searches, I do have an issue with that because it's a bit wild. But when it comes to stop and search and so many things, that stop crime and stuff like that, we can all agree here that, black kids are getting stabbed and they're dying at an alarming rate in London. Can we agree to that? Mm-hmm. So if people aren't being searched and weapons aren't being taken from them, I always say to people, when we have an issue with this, what is the solution? Most people always want to complain about one thing without ever kind of, saying, hey, let's not do this way. Let's do this that way. Because these kids are still getting killed. Kids are still going to, I was speaking to my boy, speaking to Ant. So one time his mum was going home from work or whatever. And as she's going from work on the way home from work, these police were, they've stopped and searched this youth or whatever. So she's gone to intervene because they're harassing this, they're harassing a young black boy, essentially. So she's gone in like, what are you lot doing or whatever? He was like, the size of the knife they pulled off this youth was just insane. They pulled a big, mad knife off him. And she was like, never mind. I'm going to mind my business and I'm going to go about my day. But what do we do in situations like that? Because you know what? He wasn't going to go kill a white boy with that knife. All these knives that get taken off this kid, he won't go kill a white youth with that. You know who he was going to kill? Another black kid. That, that is the reality. So for me, and I feel like, especially in the community, everyone is so preoccupied with the police are doing this, I'm like, okay, so how do we deal with this situation within our community? How do we, and I feel like it is something that needs to get dealt with. I'm like, cool. Let's say for us, I'm like, cool. So, okay, we know that police are harassing our kids or whatever. What do we do as a community to limit that? Or like, cool. Us complaining to them ain't going to do nothing. Because let's say they won't listen. What else can we do within our communities to deal with that? We need to do something. Because those kids, if we stop, let's say they stop and search right now. Let's say we complain, they hear us, and stop and search stops immediately. What happens to all these kids running around with these big fuck-off knives to go stab other black kids?
No one's saying that no one should do stop and search. I've never said that. But my thing is this.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying in the wider conversation.
I'm just saying, for example, that's like someone looking at white men of a certain age and they fit the paedophile criteria. So that means every white man that police see that looks like that should get pulled over and be
It's
like, look,
it's not every white man, but certain people fit.
But that's my point. But those white men that fit that criteria that we're looking, you're prejudging that person. They might be someone who's got something on the computer at home, or they might not be. But my point is, it's how you do it. So, for example, like for as many black boys that are carrying knives, there's more people that are not carrying knives. So even, let me use Tazer's little brother for example. Tazer's little brother's cool. Like I can see it. He's a cool youth. But Tazer's brother can go to school and police are going to have man up against a wall. What you got on you, whatever. Now, people don't realise, yes, that's a stop and search, but that's a traumatic experience for him. God forbid it doesn't happen.
100%.
But it's traumatic because he's been, even when I get stopped at police at my age, I'm like, what have I done? I'm looking at what I have, I'm talking to them, but in my mind, you've got anxiety, like, and I'm a full-grown adult, brain fully developed.
Big Daddy Marv.
Come on, do you know what I'm saying? Jingle the keys. But what I'm trying to say to you is this, yeah? But people don't realise that everything that happens in life, it leaves an effect on the person if it's not done properly. So I don't mind stop and search. But as I said, if you're stopping these kids and you're saying to them, this is why I'm stopping you, I am so-and-so sergeant or so-and-so constable from this police station. Don't worry, you're fine. I just want to make sure you're not carrying anything on you because around this area there's a lot of crime going on. This, that, a lot of kids have got knives. I'm just going to pat you down, make sure you're okay. Because we've all had that policeman that's mad cool. And whenever you have that policeman that's mad cool, you appreciate it. You're like, all right, cool officer. We've had a police officer that's mad, overzealous, grabbing man up, don't go nowhere.
Knowing man can't do nothing.
But at the moment, like, you're moving, next minute, arms behind your back, 4 men are on top of you. Bro, it's a completely different situation to the first police, and I've said. So all I'm saying is that with police, if you're going to stop our kids excessively because of this pandemic of knives, I hear it, cool. But it's how you do it. That's my only thing. And a lot of the time I see them do it, it ain't cool, bro.
Like even let's go to America for example. So the little boy that got shot the other day.
Oh, by the brother, he knocked on the wrong door.
And they're calling it
self-defense.
Bruv, that is attempted murder, bro. Because you shot one. When was the last time you knocked the door? Yeah. Oh, sorry, someone knocked your door and you felt the need to go and grab a gun.
Yeah, but America's different though. Right to bear arms.
Yeah, but bruv, the guy just knocked the door. You could have answered the door and be like, oh, wrong door.
100%. But you know, in America, yeah, there's also there's a new law in it. Not a new law, but relatively new. The stand your ground law.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So the stand your ground law. Do you know why it's dangerous? Is because it's not a case of, it's not self-defense anymore. It's if you felt threatened. So if you feel threatened, that if I'm next to Keith and Keith feels threatened, he can blow my head off. When police come, he'll be like, I stood my ground. I felt threatened. He was too close.
There's still certain, you know what I mean, there's still certain rules you have to abide by, even in those
within
situations, essentially. So, and I always say, for us, I think it's a little bit different, you know what I mean, because we
don't have that over, innit?
We're not even that we don't have the law, you know what I mean, when you look at the levels of danger, risk, and so, you know what I mean, the types of people they have over there, you know what I mean, where people are a little more jumpy because, you know, you don't know who at your door and what they're on, essentially. So not to say certain, because this was just, you know what I mean, it was egregious, and for me it was a little bit more stressful because the kid that got shot, essentially, like the picture of him in his hospital bed, I actually had to send it to my mom because it was literally a spitting image of my little brother. Like, I looked at that picture and I was like, if it didn't have the caption, or if somebody was to send me that picture
I didn't see it.
and
I didn't
say
see it.
it was like in the hospital, if someone was to send me that picture and say that was my little brother, I would have believed it because it looks, I had sent it to, or I sent it to my mum and my little brother, and my little brother was like, fuck, that looks like me. Essentially, that's how terrifying it was.
But just for the listeners, yeah. So stand your ground law have fundamentally dismantled the standard of self-defense. They allow anyone who believes their lives are in danger to use lethal force in an act of self-defense, completely removing the duty of retreat in a public space. But this wasn't always the case. Stand your ground law is relatively new. Before stand your ground law was passed in Florida in 2005, it was an individual's responsibility to attempt to retreat from confrontation before responding with lethal means, like a firearm. However, following the heavy influence that is led by the NRA, Florida's Stand Your Ground law passed, and now it allows a person to use firearm as a solution, even if that means shooting and killing a person in public. The reason why that's scary is because essentially what they're basically saying is, with this law, my man can bust case.
So from what I read on socials and stuff, and I looked at what he was charged for, you know what I mean, from what they were saying is like what they charge, because most people like charge him with attempted this and that, and people like with the charges that they charged him with, yeah, they may be lesser than the other ones, but they're harder to beat than the other ones, you know what I mean? So with these charges, they're more likely to get a conviction than with if they charge them.
That's how America is.
That's what happened with Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
Stand your ground law. Because remember, when the Zimmerman phoned the police to say there's a youth in...
They told him,
with a
leave
hoodie,
him alone.
They said, leave him
Don't
alone,
pursue
bare
him.
times. He pursued Trayvon, and I don't know if he shot him in the back or something, whatever. So, I know in America there used to be a thing where, like, you have to tell, before you shoot someone, you got to kind of tell them to move away. Have you seen the video of the black man that fisted the white man in America? Oh, my God.
What video?
So basically, there's a black man, he's outside the yard, and a white man comes out of his house, and he's like, what are you doing around here? The black man's like, listen to me.
Oh, I've seen it.
Move. I'm giving you a warning, move.
It's an older white man.
Older white man. The brother keeps coming forward, he's like, listen, move. Come forward again, he's gone, listen, I'm giving you one more,
Man gave him
like,
2 pieces
one
of
more
fries.
thing, yeah? Or else. Brother comes forward. The next clip you see, my man's eyes are like this, bro. He's on the car just chilling. He's you beat
Getting
me
his
up.
breath back.
The brother was like,
I told you.
I gave you warning, bro. But the way he knocked this brother's eyes are like that, both eyes closed. I'm like, rah. But America's a weird place because the fact that people have like guns, I think in the UK, if it was like that, people would be a bit more apprehensive. In America, I feel like because they're so used to everyone having guns, it's normal now.
No, but bro, like, okay, I hear what you're saying.
People just walk up to anybody.
No.
Like, I'm like, brother, in America, even when I'm in America, ask Chiz, when we're in America, yeah, brother, man don't get into pasta in America. Like,
You can't. You don't know what's going on.
road rage is nil.
Yeah, but
There was a case the other day where a man, you know what I mean, he got into a
Nil.
road rage situation. He got out of his car, shot into the cop, got back his car, he drove off. He killed the person. Like, literally, I think the guy, their little altercation, I think the guy bumped into the back of his car. He got out of the car and he shot into the car. It's crazy because the same guy, so they were like, he was in prison for 7 years he was accused of a stabbing. A few years before he got convicted of the stabbing, did 7 years, but then he was then found to be not guilty of the same stabbing or whatever, and then he came out of prison after 7 years, and then he got into a road rage situation after coming out of jail, and he shot into, bro, literally like they didn't come out, they didn't fight, they didn't get into a scuffle. Man bumped into the back of his car, they exchanged a couple words, and he just shot into the car. Imagine, Marvin, you're sitting, like, you're arguing with someone and man just lights up your car.
Well, look at this one. A woman, 20, fatally shot inside her friend's car after they turned onto the wrong driveway in New York, and the homeowner fired at them from his porch. So imagine you're just driving, and then you've got the wrong postcode, so you pull into someone's driveway quickly. You didn't even come out of the car, nothing. You just pulled in, chilling, and the man just fires too from his porch. So that's not threatening, is what I'm trying to say.
But it all depends on what's been happening.
Yeah, it depends on what's going on in my life. I might have beef with someone. I might have an issue. Even when I was in Atlanta, I was talking to one of my friends, and she was just talking about, we're just having a big conversation, and she was saying, yeah, I've had issues with people in my life, whatever. She was saying one time, like, she had an issue with a dude, and the dude tried to send girls to her yard. She said, worst mistake they ever made in her life, bruv.
She's saying
She said she lit up the car. She said that because she's ex-army or military, so she's got guns in her house, whatever. And she said that her kid was luckily her kids were in the house. They were with the dad or whatever. They were out and about. And she said the car pulled up, and then the girls wanted to come out and fight. They had bats, poles, like. She was like, swear. Says, wait there, 1 sec. Said she rang one of her brethren and said, listen, I'm going to get arrested today. Once we go to jail, there's money in my house in this place. You got the key just in case I need bail. And then obviously she told them what was going on, put the phone down, went outside, so she unloaded the whole clip. Like, the girls were ducking under cars. Girls were running, like, she lit the whole car up. She said when police came, she just done that. Put her hands out and said, cool. Because she was like, take me to jail. She's like, no one's killing me in front of my own house, bro. You can't come to my house and do this. Yeah. And remember, she didn't, nothing happened to her because she was on her property in self-defense.
Yeah, but
and you
what
have
I'm
to say
saying
is,
is,
in a situation, like, again, I always say, you know what I mean, you get some people where you're like, why would you do that? And then you also have to think, Tazer, because, you know, you don't know what's been happening at your crib. You don't know who's been troubling you. You don't know what issues you have. You don't know what's caused you to be, you know what I mean, to be shook. You don't even know what the reason you even own a gun is. You know what I mean? So there's certain people where you can say that's just an outright racist person who's just looked out of his window, seen black people, and he's just fired. You know what I mean? But imagine you've had somebody stressing you, harassing you, you're scared for your life, a car pulls up or whatever. You're like, I'm not waiting to find out who's in
All right,
there.
cool. I hear what you're saying because you're applying critical thinking. I guess when you read more of the details, it's a bit like, because this one says,
Or the person could have just
the-
been an outright piece of shit. And
yeah,
just
but
fired
due
into
to the
car.
incident happening in a rural area, the friends couldn't even call 911 for help. So what are you doing there?
What kind of area is this?
Upstate New York.
Brother? But they ain't got no cell
Bro,
towers.
I'm just saying. So maybe that's why man was like, brother, I ain't had no one on my driveway for 20 years.
No, literally, bro.
That was a
you're
white
thinking-
girl. It was a white girl, by the way, that died. So he's been charged for second-degree murder.
Ah, yeah, see, toast.
But
Black
my
man,
thing
black
is-
man.
Old white man, 65. And the girl that died was 20.
Because you know what I mean? Because he's just gone, he's fired, you know what I mean? Just blindly just
Blindly,
lick
bro.
people,
They
whatever.
didn't provoke him or nothing. He
But
just
no,
came
no,
out
but
and he thought, bow.
It just depends
But
on, you
remember,
know what I mean?
but people don't realize as well, and that sounds weird, yeah, but it's age as well. Because remember, if it's us, man, and someone comes to your yard, you might be a little bit more, not ready to scrap, but you're a bit more.
I can wait for you to get closer for me
I
to
can
decide.
wait for you, and I can rely on a bit of youth, a bit of agility, a bit of strength. I'm all right. Whereas a 65-year-old brother,
I'm getting you before you get out the
he
car.
can't even see man properly, bro.
No, this guy's racist, though. This is the one that shot the black boy.
Let me see.
This guy's racist, bro.
What, just by looking at him?
Brother,
I'm not saying he isn't,
But to
but
be
how you get
fair,
that?
how old is he?
84.
Yeah, that man were around
Bro, he
when
fired
black
his
people
own,
weren't.
Yeah, he fired through his own door, the glass. It hit my man, I think below his eye. I think his mum was talking about today, below his eye. Then he's gone outside, seen man on the floor, and he shot him in his arm. That's the second one that they're saying. That's attempted murder, bro. Because you've already hit man. And you've clocked who it is. He's not troubling you. He's not, what's the word? Intimidating, nothing. And then you let another
did
one
it go
go.
in his head or just grazing?
I think it grazed it. So she said it went in his eye, but under his eye. I can play the video of the mum talking about it. She said he's good though. He's at home now. So
Oh, so he's not like mentally.
she says she doesn't know. It's the shot in his face. It's gonna take him a while to recover. The doctors are saying probably about a year. But he's not gonna be the same again. Just like you said about traumatic experience, bro. I'm going to go pick up his sibling to get shot. Yeah, this one.
Top
is that
of
YouTube?
his left eye, that I would say in the left frontal lobe, and then he was shot again in the upper right arm. He was shot. He had the bullet in the up here for about, let's say, up to 12 hours before it was taken out. So that injury is extensive, and it's the residual effect of that injury is going to stay with him for quite a while. He's home, but I want to remind everybody that Ralph is home because he's surrounded by a team of medical professionals. I'm a nurse for almost 20 years. His aunt is a physical therapy. His uncle is a medical professional. That's why he's
Mental.
home. So let's put that into perspective. Ralph was shot.
That's the only reason why he's home, because his family,
Yeah,
they
pattern,
look after
boy.
him.
Family a pattern, bro.
Yeah, but sending love and guidance to him and his family, though. But that's fuckery, man. Bro, man knock the door and you go to the door and shoot. I just don't get that. I understand what you're saying in regards to feeling threatened. Oh, he's an 84-year-old man. You could at least open the door, sorry, wrong door, shut the door, or not answer the door. Everyone's had bailiffs knock their door, you just don't answer the door.
But my thing is this, I don't even
I've
want
seen
to
too many
sound,
wild things in
I don't want to
America.
sound immature and whatever, but just double check the address, everyone.
No, yeah. Obviously, off the back of this,
And then even
Yeah.
off the back of what you said in New York, the other place.
yeah,
That-
people are gonna start.
I saw another clip, I don't know if you've seen it, it's like one, I don't know, like two warring gangs in it or something like that apparently. But they must have knocked man's door in it, like they're trying to open the door with a crowbar. There's like maybe about 5 youths outside trying to open man's door with a crowbar anyway. But it's like a glass, it's one of those doors that like it's glass. But then it's like one of those doors that double lock you can see, so they're trying to open, it's not opening. Then I think the brother opens the second door inside and looks at them, and they're like, yo, come out. And I think he must have a gun or something. They're saying, bust it then. Then they think to themselves, hold on, he just showed himself. So they smash the window, pow. Then they open the door from inside. They kick the door open. Brother, these lot, I don't know who they've been dealing with, the brothers inside. CS gas. Oh, man, gas, man. Why the gas, man? Them man have run out. One of them still inside.
UK?
One of them, huh?
UK?
Yeah, UK. One of them was like, no, he's in there. We've got to get man out. One brother said, leave him. No, we've got to get him. Anyway, cut a long story short, them man, they run off. These brothers come out with gas masks on, bruv.
Inside the house.
Brother, like, as in they've got like gas. You know the one that's like that with the two... In the comments, I'm seeing people say, brother, these men that CS gas on masks, don't play with them, man. They were ready for this scenario because think about it, most men are not going to have... If they're going to have CS gas, they're going to have it, but not the masks.
Yeah.
They got the whole package, bro. That scattered the whole... They're lucky, bro, because the way that man ran in, 6 man, if they got in, these men were finished.
Quick one, yeah. Obviously, we've got 10 minutes left and we still need to record the ad, so I guess one more topic, then wrap up. You watched John Wick?
Oh, bad.
So
But the way you speaking about the Chinese man was like he was like some ultra shower man.
He is, but what I'm saying is they played him, Bobby's blind.
Yeah, but...
Who?
John Wick.
Kane in John Wick. You haven't seen John Wick, have you? The new one? Oh, yeah, that's why. Bobby's blind, bro.
I hear you, but the way you made it seem...
They played him down. He's a blind assassin.
No,
and
I
he's
hear
on
you, but
what John Wick's on.
But the way you made it sound, yeah, was like he was like...
Oh, Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
He blinded it.
Yeah.
But they made it sound like he was like this ultra like bad boy and oh my God, he's here, like in the building. Like he was cold, but he wasn't like...
No, I said because of who John Wick is, his counterpart had to be blind and he's still levels with John Wick.
He's not level with him though.
Are you okay? What?
He's not level with him.
Brother, he's levels with John Wick, bro. He's levels. John Wick's doing... I haven't mentioned this yet, but the suit jacket thing,
Yeah?
they're taking the piss.
No, that's
blood.
cold. That makes sense though.
How does that make sense, bro?
Because the suit's made of Teflon.
You like what? Is your hand not in the way?
No,
They
but
get hit once.
No, I hear you.
The man's running at man like this, but
No,
come
but the
on,
thing,
man.
no, but the thing is,
He's not a superhero, by the way.
I hear that, but the jacket John Wick, obviously there are. Remember, it's a film, cool.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: you're forgetting a lot of the time John Wick fights these man. He's fought 65 brothers already.
His
He's
conditioning
tired,
is mad.
bro.
His conditioning is mad.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
The
I'm
stairs
saying,
scene.
I guarantee you, yeah, brother. I guarantee you, yeah, if John Wick fought all these man just one fight, he's beating all of them.
What?
If he fought that blind man,
Oh,
with,
one-on-one?
yes, on the one without
He
fighting
fought him
anybody.
one-on-one?
How many men did he fight before he fought him 1-on-1?
Oh, no. I'm not hearing that.
Brother, John Wick has.
You know it's a movie. You
know,
said it yourself.
Do you know how
No,
many...
I'm
You said it yourself.
No, it's a movie. But what I'm trying to say to you is, for example, yeah, John Wick is fighting these man after fighting 80 men. Do you know the best scene? Yeah, is the flamethrower gun thing.
Yeah.
And
the
the
brother who actually packed it.
The way they pan. The,
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's
the
scene.
scene.
Yeah, that's what cinematography
How
I
many
was talking
people
about.
John Wick has killed in all 4 films?
The cinematography
400 and something.
must be more than that.
Yeah, I had it up.
439.
But
so
what
that's
is it-
what I'm like. And my man's over here worried about some Teflon jacket. This man killed
No.
nearly 500
No,
people.
the brother that obviously helps him he's an assassin as well, and he come out of it. That's how he lost his eyes. Remember, you got to give something to be for the.
No, he didn't lose eyes because of that.
Yeah, he did. He gave up his eyes for his
No.
daughter. Yes, brother. I've watched bare videos up, bro. The reason why
Where did they say it in that film?
Easy
no,
now,
I'm
big man. You
saying
know,
he's an
you
assassin.
killing us for the rest of us.
He's an assassin like John Wick. Yeah.
And he's blind. He didn't give up his eyes for his daughter.
Bro, he gave up his eyes
Where
to get
does-
out.
where
To
does it say
get
that?
out.
He
Not for
did-
his daughter, to get out so they don't chase him like they chased John Wick.
No.
Bro, listen. You see in John Wick 3, yeah, where
Finger.
yeah. So that was his way of saying, I'm done. But then he came back and they said, brother, if you come back, everyone's on you. But remember, the white man cheated and put a bounty on his head and kept increasing it. That's why he was fighting so much, man. All John Wick had to do is just wait till midnight, sunrise, and fight. But my man would try to cheat. So that's why the Chinese brother Kane helped him.
Yeah.
So he can make that fight. But that fight was basically, whoever wins this, we're not going to trouble you anymore. My man has already been left alone because of his daughter. He wants his daughter to live carefree life. Don't trouble. We're not going to trouble you. But then the white brother, I can't remember what his name is. The op.
Brother, his suit game
The fat guy.
was...
No, not the fat guy.
This brother's suit game was ridiculous.
What, the op?
What?
So he got Kane to be like, yo, I need you to jump back in because you're one of the best. Help me kill my man. That's why when he looks at the sheet, he's like, and then he goes, remember your daughter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So he wasn't. That's what I was pointing. He wasn't out.
He was. No, he wasn't in. He wasn't in.
He wasn't in.
Bro, he got back in.
No, he wasn't in. He wasn't because remember when he gives him the card, yeah,
to show him who to go kill
with a brill, and he touches it. It's hilarious because it goes wick. He stops
because he knows who he has to
knows
go
who
kill.
it is. Then he says to him, "John's a friend, innit? I'm not doing this." And he's gone, "I remember your daughter." Wait 1 sec, and then he says, "I'm out." Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "I don't want to do this." He's gone for the. I said for the table. This is what you're involved. As in, like, if you were out, the table can't ask you to come back.
No, but telling him, brother, I'll leng off your door.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He was still for basically what he's saying to him. You're still part of the organization. You can't leave.
Bro, I'm telling you.
No,
I'll find an article.
bro.
I'll find an article.
Yeah, you can find an article, but in the film, I didn't see it say because remember, John Wick lost his finger because he was saying, "I want to be out," and they're like, "You got to give a finger." Cool, but then something happened for John Wick to still be around. But I'm saying with this brother, I think he was blind from before. It wasn't nothing to do with his daughter.
You know, something that we should talk about, you know what I mean, even if it's briefly, I'm not sure if you lot have watched it. He might have watched it. You definitely haven't watched it because it's, you know, nearly 4 hours long. The King Von documentary by Trevor Ross. It's one of the best things I've watched in a while. I actually watched
So one sec.
3.5 hours.
Have you getting the article? Just to round up this topic.
It says he was summoned by the Marquis.
Yeah.
They ordered him to kill John Wick.
Yeah.
He refused. The Marquis threatened his daughter.
Yeah.
After reluctantly agreeing, it's just giving me a breakdown of the movie.
Exactly.
But I've seen people talk about it, and they said that was his way of saying, "I'm done."
Brother, we know
his eyes.
Twitter and how people come to
Twitter,
conclusions.
but I was on YouTube,
no,
bro.
I'm saying come to conclusions about anything. Brother, no part in that film did I see that he lost his sight because of his daughter, and it was a way out, bro. There was none of that there. He was blind from before. His daughter's just whatever. And then maybe even there's one point where he's talking to John Wick and he's talking. Remember, there was one part where the Marquis says, "There's two men in this. There's three things in life. Having something to live for, having something to die for, and something else." He's gone. John Wick has got none of them. Donnie Yen or whatever has got all three. So he was just holding it against him. But brother, he was. Remember when you're. That's why John Wick lost the finger.
Look. Okay, cool. It's implied that Kane's blindness was part of his deal for retirement, similar to how the Marquis forced Mr. Nobody to cut his own hand as part of the deal. When asked about it, Kane states that the high table didn't take his eyes, rather that Kane gave them to the high table. So he was like, "Here, I'm done." So
what part of the film is that?
I'm just telling you what the research that I've done because I'm thinking, why is my man blind? But then for him, it was like, I'll do this so my daughter can live a normal life. Because remember, he doesn't talk to his daughter; he just watches her from far. You see him when she's playing. Is it the guitar or the piano? She's playing, something.
That's
what I watched in the interview. So
that's an end scene.
So I don't know if they showed it in the movie, but that's what I
that
my research and found out.
That was in the movie. But in terms of cinematography in that film, like cold, bro. That scene where the flamethrower gun and it's like from the kind of like a bird's eye view.
Bird's eye view.
He just it seems cold, bro.
But to anybody who's obviously...
And even the Arc de Triomphe bit with the cars and the man's just fighting on the road in front.
Mad thing.
Bad.
Anybody who's interested in movies like John Wick, because remember, I always talk about they're inspired by Korean cinema. So obviously I've mentioned The Raid 2. There's Triple Threat. I'm not really a fan of that one, but you can watch it. The Night Comes for Us, Headshot.
It's on Netflix, all these films.
Some of them on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Headshot is very, very exaggerated, but brother, the amount of deaths in that, bruv, the main, I think is Headshot or The Night Comes for Us. The intro, brother, the way these men are letting off the strap, like there's like 20 men, both the prisoners and the police, and they're just letting it rip, bro. Like each body took about 50 bullets. I'm just like, it's very extreme. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But that's the type of movie that it is, isn't it? So you can see the inspiration that John Wick took from them kind of movies in regards to making their version.
The funniest thing about John Wick is like, obviously, because of the agents, obviously I don't want to spoil it, but the agents running in, because they're wearing the Teflon or like the armor, the way John Wick, like, has to kill them is mad. Like
He
he'll
has to
shoot
get
them
bare
like
close,
bare
yeah,
times,
yeah.
but then he'll make sure he will get to their head like, bap, bap, bap,
Yeah.
like 12, like 3 shots in the head, bap, bap.
Even the
To drop
dialogue.
another one.
It's
It's
like Keith, Taze, family. Swear.
I don't remember that bit.
No, but that's how John Wick talks. He just bare one word. It's like Marv, Taze. Like, no, do you know why? Because basically, the dialogue is sick. Because if I'm in a room, you know I'm there. I've come to kill you.
Brent is flicking his lights. No,
So you're like, oh, so you're basically looking at me like, yo,
Bro.
is that? And I'm like, yeah. So you're asking me why is
But
it
what
that?
scene is this?
But all the scene, but even the scene where they go to is it the Russian Don and they play cards?
That Russian Don was fisting up John Wick, boy.
Like, he was on drugs though.
He
You can
was
tell.
fisting John Wick.
But even like that scene, for example, they blood. And this is another thing that I say about America that it just annoys me, bro. The Black Don, he's not levels, bro.
Nah, he was cold, the Black
No,
Don.
but he weren't levels
He
though.
was levels still.
Nah, man. Man's
was
calling
levels.
that dog
And-
could have got leg
And
east.
yeah, his dog was bad though.
But you see the part where he had to cut his hand?
Yeah, that would never happen.
No, but it's either that or you're dead. Because that was your way of letting me know that, okay, cool, you agree.
No. But he went in there too confident. He was too cocky.
Yeah, he was. I don't think
Do
he
you know
knew
who
how
we were
levels...
dealing? Do you know who we were dealing with?
Yeah,
The
I don't think he
marquee.
knew.
You got the whole table at his disposal, and you want to run in there and tell a man 35 million
do you
or
think
what?
do you think he's I don't want to spoil it. But it's been out for how long?
Yeah, but to be honest, we don't want to spoil it because we don't know it.
No, but the end-
You're not damn near supposed to don't
No, but the end.
Yeah, no, the scene at the end.
Yeah, but that just goes back to a thing, innit? I heard it just goes back to Osaka,
Who's the second?
the girl.
The one that dad died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about the actual movie ending where he's just sitting on the stairs.
I was fuming.
But I don't think he's.
I don't know.
But he's getting old. In real life, he's getting old. He can't keep doing it. He's like 50 something.
But I feel like with John Wick, you should have.
It's taxing.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about the end, but Brent's trying to. We got to leave anyway. So.
No. But we'll talk about the Kante topic later. It's not a time.
I told you, lot. I
Specific.
said what happened.
Yeah, it's not time. But I've got it all loaded up on my phone.
No, I'm just saying. I said that if we didn't speak about it then, we're not going to speak about it because it's just going to happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, it's always happened. Same thing. Like
I guess this was a nice episode. We didn't really talk about relationships, sex, like, and all of that stuff. So I'm proud of the man. Them. Let's give us a little round of applause.
Brent, you got any keys there?
I need to rush off as well.
Oh no, that's cool. It's cool. No, I got it still.
But yeah, man.
Shout out the man them.
Oh yeah, you got to change your bag.
I didn't even bring it.
I
you
knew
know?
you were gonna.
I didn't even bring it.
also-
I only got that.
Also, just want to shout out everybody. If you've reached this part of the episode, just know that we just want to shout you out. Big you lot up for supporting us. This is our 7th year anniversary, and we've amassed 22 million streams and counting. And that is just listeners. That's not including the viewership on YouTube. That is just listens. So we couldn't have done it without you lot. So I just want to say thank you. Big you lot up.
Smoky.
If you lot catch me at any event for the next 6 weeks, I don't mind. I'll get you a tequila shot.
Brent, 20,
So
40,
technically you
50,
would've-
60.
Is he gonna flip it?
20, 40.
Yeah, I'll happily get you a tequila shot just to say thank you for your support,
Listen,
man.
don't even say that, bro.
No, that's me, Tazer. That's me, Tazer.
No,
Don't
I'm
bother
saying, you're
Keith.
toast.
Don't bother. No, it's cool. Don't bother Keith. Don't bother
The
Mark.
money's long
Tazer
over
saying
there,
it.
yeah.
No, but it's at my event.
Bobby be the gay see me, they see me nowhere.
Nah, I'm just saying
Don't
that,
take
that for me, this is my way of saying thank you. If you catch me out,
You can only talk to me.
if you catch me out the
Don't
next
buy you a drink.
next 6 weeks, then yeah, I got a shot.
I was thinking, stop lying, Taze.
I'm being serious.
But a couple men are going to come up to you.
And I'll get them a shot. I'll get them a shot. Yeah, but next 6 weeks. So like, depending on what event they catch me at. Do you know what I mean? So it's from this episode till end of May.
Yeah.
I'll happily oblige. But I'm not going out too often, so you know what I mean? But yeah, man, thank you.
And also,
and keep
people
supporting.
remember as well, on the Spotify, you can actually comment on the episodes now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can comment. So you can leave a quote. If you go on the Spotify, remember this.
Like feedback.
Yeah, you can read some of them. So that's what maybe we should start doing. So like maybe the next week
Starting the next episode.
or
Because
the
we need
next
to record
episode,
this.
we might read at the beginning of the episode. Maybe read the comments people leave, but most of them are like they're cool. There's no bad comments. Most people are like, yeah, I enjoyed the episode. This part's funny, and then you can also do a poll on there as well. So you can do like, what did you think of the episode? Then you can also look on a poll. So basically, it's private, but then I can publish them. Can you see them on there?
Oh, I see it.
You can see them, innit?
Yeah, I saw it from when you mentioned it. Nah, I just clocked why the lights were flickering.
Oh, because Brent.
Yeah, no, but I just clocked why he was doing it. Like you lot, wrap up, get out.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in my John Wick.
How long did fucking
Nah,
take
I
you
was
to
in my
get to
John
that?
Wick trailer 4. But all right, cool, we're out, man.